Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining, and welcome to the March Modern Workplace Partner Community Quarterly Update Call. Just to make sure that you're able to hear me okay, if you can tell me, I think I reused this question, but if you can tell me if you've had coffee, tea, water, orange juice, whatever you had to drink this morning, that'll just let me know that you're able to hear audio. And if you could just type that in the message window. All right, cool. Tea, water, any coffee drinkers out there? Oh, there we go. All right, great. If anybody with this, so now that we know the audio is coming through, if you have any issues with your browser refreshing or with the slides moving, try refreshing your browser. If that still doesn't work, I listed the conference ID, conference bridge, as well as the ID in the message window. So before we start the call, I do want to mention that this call is being recorded. If you have any issues with being recorded, please feel free to drop now. We will post the call, the deck, to our Yammer community after the call, and the call recording will be posted to our YouTube channel within the next day or two. All right, with that being said, want to make sure everybody is aware of all the technical communities that the One Communication Partner is supporting. Modern Workplace, which we're on now. Each one of these communities hosts a monthly call. Within Modern Workplace, we actually host 3 monthly calls, one for productivity, security, and then Windows and devices. And then the third month of every quarter, we actually have the quarterly update call and review key announcements that were made during the past quarter. But Business Apps has their own call, apps and infrastructure, data and AI, as well as open source. And I provided the links to those, so feel free to join those calls as you see fit. Lastly, I want to make sure you're aware of the resources that we have for the Modern Workplace Partner Community to see upcoming training. And this isn't just for Modern Workplace, it's for all of the communities, aka.ms Hot Sheet News, our technical Yammer community where the slides will be posted. The link is here. And then also to register for upcoming calls, you can go to aka.ms US Modern Workplace Call. We also have a link for the call recordings. It's for our YouTube page. All the previous call recordings will be listed there, and that's aka.ms aka.ms MW call recording. And I'll actually see that's not here, but I'll add it into the message window. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and get us started. What we'll do is go through the key announcements for each one of those sections: productivity, subsegments, productivity, security, and Windows and devices in that order. So I'll hand things over to Robert Gates.
Great, thank you. Next slide. All right, so the first thing I wanted to sort of touch on today was Office 365 groups. And, you know, groups in Office 365 lets you control and choose a set of people that you're looking to desire to collaborate with and easily set up a collection of resources you want to share. And that could be maybe a shared inbox, shared calendar, document library, or maybe collaborating on files. The nice thing about Office 365 groups is you really don't have to worry about manually assigning permissions to all those resources, right? You just add the members, and then they automatically get assigned to those permissions and tools and resources that are available. So I'm not going to go through each of these links, but wanted to share out some recent updates and improvements to Office 365 groups. And the experience is obviously continuing to get better. And the diagram on the right just shows the connectivity of Office 365 groups really across the bulk and the breadth of Office 365. Next slide, please. The next update that I wanted to cover was the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. So with the introduction of Microsoft 365, when we've combined Windows 10, Office 365, and EMS into a single SKU. So we've continued to build upon that, and we recently announced the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, which basically integrates the Office 365, the Microsoft Security and Compliance Center, Windows, EMS, and then the device management into a single portal. Next slide. On Office 365 Security and Compliance, I've grabbed some content here to share with you guys. The first link is a open source project that we've published out on GitHub. And for those partners that are doing work with customers on GDPR, this tool here would allow you to build a GDPR activity hub for the customers, which is going to allow you the opportunity to build aspects around tracking events, requests and tasks, activities that are really required to be compliant with GDPR. We also have some updates to the Office 365 threat intelligence, providing the ability to delete emails directly from the incident framework, which has been a big request. We have real-time reporting that's now available in the Advanced Threat Protection platform. We also have in this fourth link a updated guide to deploying Microsoft 365 securely. And we've just released out into public preview the attack simulator for Office 365 threat intelligence. Next slide. This next slide, I really want to just sort of highlight the opportunity from a partner perspective to work with customers around discovery of shadow IT. So through the use of cloud app security and integrating the firewall logs, we're now able to help organizations gain visibility into various cloud services, and that may be use across the organization. What's nice here is once you've discovered that, you can obviously work through policies to help control and manage what users can do across the organization. Next slide. So from Microsoft Teams perspective, we continue to see great momentum and interest in Teams. We're doing a lot of conference calls with partners, and everybody's getting very excited. So the following links are just some articles and blog posts that have come out recently. So there's many ways to use the command line inside of Teams now, and we've introduced new slash commands and new ways to use apps within Microsoft Teams. We'll also announce some various tricks and tips on how to use Microsoft Teams within meetings. And we've also updated the Skype roadmap, or the Skype to Teams roadmap, and provided some additional guidance on where we're at with a lot of the announcements that we created and provided during Ignite. And there's also a new set of apps and updates for MS Flow and Freehand, which is now available inside of Teams as well. Next slide. On the Office 365 development side, there's a new Graph Java SDK for those that are doing a lot of work in the Java platform. You now have the ability to access the Graph API through there. We have introduced a Teams App Studio control library, which provides the ability to create a consistent user experience with little effort when you're doing development inside of Teams, whether it's across tabs or connectors, etc. And then just a heads up on if you're developing apps and you're working through the login process, the consent screen is being updated on April 2nd. In that consent screen, there will be a notification about the privacy policies, and that will be displayed. If you do not update the privacy policies, there will be a notice that says the publisher of this app has not provided privacy policies. So something to make sure that you do. And this is sort of relevant to GDPR that I mentioned earlier, just to make sure that you're compliant. Next slide. And my final update for this week is around the Microsoft Forms, which is no longer in preview, and you've got the ability to take advantage of that. SharePoint News aggregation now is available inside of Teams chat, and that's a new feature. We have a new SharePoint Online Asset Library, which allows you to bring obviously wikis, promoted links, and form templates now into that experience. And then SharePoint framework development. We now have new support for Graph and Azure, Graph API, as well as Azure AD secure APIs. And that is all I have for today. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Robert. I do want to let the audience know that you are able to ask questions by posting them in the message window, and then during breaks in the presentation, I'll be able to ask those questions. So we don't have any questions now. I also did want to announce one announcement I did not mention earlier is that after the call ends, there will be a survey that pops up, and that survey is just in response to the format of the quarterly update calls. And reason being is that this is a new format for us, so we just want to make sure that it's beneficial to you as the partner. So please, if you have the opportunity, stay on for a couple seconds or a couple minutes after the call ends and complete the survey. It's basically just 5 or 6 questions with radio buttons. So with that, we'll move forward to the security update with Edward Walton.
Thank you, Willie. Thank you, Robert. My name is Edward Walton. I'm a cloud solution architect in the modern workplace in the security and compliance group. Today, we'd like to give you some of the more prevalent updates around the enterprise mobility security as well as the M365 security stack. It will be myself presenting, and it was put in conjunction with my peer, Matt Sussman. Next slide, please. So one thing we've been asked is, what is the modern workplace security and compliance and identity team? We are the security branch of the modern workplace, and we do have a specific set of roles and goals within my group. One of those is being able to technically enable partners who have an interest in creating a security practice with a focus on becoming a Microsoft Trifecta partner. A Trifecta partner in relations to security is a partner that can effectively deliver security solutions and or create security offerings around enterprise mobility and security, Office 365 Advanced Threat Protection, and Windows Advanced Threat Protection, and then have a desire to submit their custom solutions inside the OCP catalog. You'll see an outline of some of the other duties and functions of my group, and it is centered around creating custom learning plans and technical workshops to have partners come up to speed and become technically competent to deliver these Microsoft solutions solo and with confidence. Next slide. And so the modern workplace resources. This is a mirror of the slide that was first presented by Willie. These are URLs that you can go and get more information, up-to-date information, as well as ask questions. So you'll see various links for the Yammer community, the modern workplace, the community call registration link, as well as the partner community blog. These are excellent resources for you to ask questions, get a gist of what is going on inside the security and collaboration community as a whole, and as well as collaborate with your peers. Next slide. So the security update announcements and releases. You'll find that a lot of the content overlaps with Robert, who's our sister group within the collaboration team, Modern Workplace. They are also responsible for the Office 365 security workloads. So now, Compliance Manager is now generally available for those who want to be able to understand what their customers or their own infrastructure is in regard to various regulations and compliance measures and controls, such as GDPR, HIPAA High-Tech, PCI. The Compliance Manager is now GA that you can go in, enable or light up those security features within your tenant and understand where you are from a compliance posture. Also, Attack Simulator. Attack Simulator is a security workload and feature function where you can create a scenario to see if your end-user security training and awareness initiatives are successful, where you can craft very targeted manipulation and exploitative campaigns such as phishing attacks to see if your security controls and or your users are enlightened enough to either don't fall for the attempted compromise or at least forward it to your security team. Advanced Azure Advanced Threat Protection for users is now generally available. It is the cloud version of Advanced Threat Analytics, which is a security function workload to stay abreast of what your domain level or administrative level credentials are in play within your organization, and to see if someone is running any type of exploitations to do authentication replays, Kerberos replays, pass the hash, or overpass the keys. RSA conference. Microsoft will be a top-tier participant and co-host of the RSA conference that is occurring in April 16th through the 20th in San Francisco, California. If you are part of a team that's coming out, please visit the Microsoft booth and go talk to some of the top security players in the industry. Along the same lines as conferences, there is a GDPR summit hosted by Microsoft occurring in Redmond, April 3rd to the 4th. You can register for this as a partner to take part in a very comprehensive 2-day summit that talks about the upcoming GDPR controls and regulations set forth to be to take place in May of this year. So the GDPR conference for partners in Redmond, April 3rd through the 4th. Some product updates. Intune has a very functional and exciting new feature called the Enrollment Failure Trend Chart. Oftentimes you have customers who are trying to enroll their devices, and you're not really able to get an accurate description of what the error is when they can't enroll their device. It used to be problematic scouring the logs to get an idea of the failure codes, but now Intune has a new enrollment failure trend chart, so that if you have a common criteria for failures of your users trying to enroll devices, you can look here and maybe solve a systemic issue in your deployment methodology. Microsoft Cloud App Security. They have released version 1.18. You can now take advantage of Shadow IT Discovery in your own proprietary custom applications. So if you're writing your own custom apps, SaaS applications, or traditional apps, you can add them to the overall catalog and be able to write in controls to understand if they are acting in a malicious way. So that is a big feature released inside Cloud App Security. In those same lines around Shadow IT and data governance, the AIP scanner is now generally available. The AIP scanner is a scanner that can be used to scan data repositories and digital assets at rest to see if they have Azure Information Protection label and or classification applied to them. And if they are, you are able to catch any DLP violations or data governance leaks or incidents by being able to report that back. So the scanner is a very exciting tool, so you can scan data that's not necessarily in transit but at rest. Next slide. As part of my team, the Security and Compliance Group, we have a webinar series that is occurring over the next 5 weeks. We've already completed the M365 Trifecta Partner webinar that goes over what it means and the requirements to become a Microsoft Security Trifecta Partner. The subsequent one was February 8th, which is a Windows 10 security overview of around Windows 10 Advanced Threat Protection. The next security webinar will be around security assessments that are offered by Microsoft as part of CAN Solutions. That will occur March 15th. It is looking at the 5 Microsoft security assessments for partners that can be funded in some instances, but are already put together from how to deploy, deployment guides, statement of works, and how to create executive summary. So that is a very important and a very exciting one to take advantage of. That is March 15th. Anyone who's looking to join can look on the Yammer page. There should be a post on how to sign up for it. If you have signed up for the previous ones, you already have the link, but if you have questions, please send an email to m365 trifectasecurity@microsoft.com. That alias will get you to my group, and we can get you any information that you may need to sign up for the upcoming webinars as well as the ones that have already occurred. We do have another one, April 5th. It will occur during the time of the GDPR summit that is occurring in Redmond. So this is an appendix or an ongoing augmentation of the GDPR summit that's going to happen in Redmond. Next slide. So go-to-market resources. In the previous slide, I mentioned that we are going to have a webinar that talks about the Microsoft funded or Microsoft CAN assessment solutions and workshops. This particular slide talks about the go-to-market resources, which consist of those security assessments. If you want a one-pager to read over and get the information and the details about each individual assessment, they consist of the Office 365 Security Assessment, which is also part of Secure Score, Shadow IT Assessment, which is part of Microsoft Cloud App Security, O365 Cloud App Security, as well as AIP. We have the Rapid Cybersecurity Assessment Workshop. It works in conjunction with Microsoft products, but can also be an agnostic and just to look at the security posture of your clients and or your own infrastructure. We also have a GDPR detailed assessment. This includes how to conduct assessment as well as the tools, resources, and toolkits that you can use. Last but not least is the Data Discovery Toolkit. This toolkit is identifying, classified, labeled, and or sensitive information within your infrastructure to be able to get a sense and help with consolidation and harmonization of data that's out there, as well as see if you have any outgoing DLP risk. Next slide. And if you have any questions, I know it's a lot to try to consume. This is a wrap-up type of webinar today for the quarter, but please, if you have any questions about enterprise mobility and security, Windows 10 Advanced Threat Protection, or Office 365 Advanced Threat Protection, you can, once again, get in contact with us by emailing our alias, m365 trifecta security at microsoft.com. I know that's a lot. Type it once, and then Outlook had autosave if you want to do it again. And say that you want to learn more, and we can get with you to see if we can create a custom learning plan for you, give you more information about being a Trifecta partner, and help you bring security offerings and build a security practice. I believe that's all. Thank you.
All right, thanks. We did have a couple questions come in. Mm-hmm. Are you able to give examples of custom solutions for Trifecta partners?
Yes, one of the custom solutions that we've had partners really take advantage of is they've taken the Shadow IT assessment and modified it with a program that Microsoft had called Fish Hunter, where they were automating the policy updates as well as the reporting that was coming out of Microsoft Cloud App Security. So they were able to turn this into a managed service and a recurring offering to their customers by automating and scripting how Cloud App Security was monitoring and reporting back. That is one of them. Another one is a reoccurring touch base with customers as they make configurations during O365 migrations to see how their secure score posture changes as they onboard new partners. This is especially effective if you have customers that do a lot of M&As, which is mergers and acquisitions. Undoubtedly, your security posture changes as you bring on new resources and or you deprecate or deplete resources from your infrastructure. So coming in and being able to provide a level set for your partner on a recurring basis is some of the examples by using those security assessments.
Okay. Great, thanks. I think the other question was actually on along that same line. So
we can definitely answer any detailed questions by receiving an email at that alias that is displayed.
Yeah, and definitely feel free. I mean, if something comes up, even whether it's productivity or security related, we'll still have Q&A right after the Windows and Devices section as well.
All right.
All right, so with that, I'll actually pass it on to Leticia. Siobhan was actually going to be presenting today, but got caught away into a meeting.
All right. Hello, everyone. If you can hear me okay, my name is Leticia. To Willie's point, I am filling in for Siobhan, who got pulled into a meeting last minute. Just a couple things to cover. I won't take up too much of your time, but we're just going to review some things that you ought to keep in mind as we close out the quarter and a half. So next slide, please. All right, first things first, on behalf of Lillian, we just want to make a quick announcement about the Windows blog. It's a great place to stay up to date with Windows announcements and all things Windows as far as news, information coming in as far as Windows goes. You can go to the next slide. Now, one item that we did want to highlight is that we announced the Windows Defender ATP support for Windows 7 and Windows 8.1. We've been hearing from our customers that security is one of the biggest motivators for their move to Windows 10. However, we know that while in their transition, some may have a mix of Windows 10 and Windows 7 devices in their environment. So we want to help our customers achieve the best security possible on their way to Windows 10 ahead of the end of support for Windows 7 in January 2020. That said, starting this summer, customers moving to Windows 10 can add Windows Defender ATP endpoint detection and response functionality to their Windows 10 and Windows 8.1 devices to get a holistic view across their endpoints. Next slide. All right, so again, just a couple updates as far as the Surface business goes. I have a couple offers that I want to remind you all of, but before that, next slide, please, Willie. We just want to announce that Windows Autopilot for Surface is here. And what Windows Autopilot is, it offers and maintains a no-touch modern managed desktop service for our customers. Next slide, Willie. With Windows Autopilot, IT professionals can customize the out-of-box experience for Surface and enable end users to take a brand new device and just have it fully configured and ready for business use. There are no images to deploy, no drivers to inject, and no infrastructure to manage. But most importantly, users can go through the process independently, so without having to make decisions and without needing to involve IT. Windows 10 version 1709 allows our commercial customers to register their organization's devices with the Windows Autopilot deployment, service to their Azure Active Directory tenant, and customize the out-of-box experience for their end users using a cloud configuration. The Autopilot deployment services are partner-led and can consist of simply enabling a device as being Autopilot ready with the Microsoft Partner Center to fully managing a customer's device through Azure Active Directory. It's available to customers who have an Azure AD Premium subscription and Windows 10 Enterprise and E3 subscription. For Surface, it's only available on Windows 10, so 1709. Devices and future versions of Windows 10. All right, next slide. Just a couple offers for you guys to keep in mind. We have a new deal Reg Booster. It started February 5th and it will go through the end of the fiscal. It gives you guys an additional 2% on top of the 3% for a total of 5% for eligible deal Reg. The eligible SKUs have not changed. It's going to be for Surface Pro, Laptop, Studio, and TAA SKUs. And of course, it excludes all EDU promos, the Surface Pro Core M's, and Surface Pro i5s with 128 gigabytes. You can go to the next slide, Willie. All right, the new Surface Pro LTE is here, so definitely make sure that you're working with disties to move those through to your customers. We have the LTE price with expected retail price for a little bit under $1,200 for the Windows 10 Pro, the i5 4, and then for the i5 8, it's just under $1,500. And we also, next slide please, Willie. We have our EDU offers for Surface and Education. This is going to be an evergreen SKU for laptops, or a promo for our laptops with Windows 10S and Pro. You get a discount for $110 off of our Surface Pro Core M and $45 on all of the other SKUs that are eligible within this promotion. The promotion has been running since January 4th, and again, will go through the end of the fiscal, June 30th. You get up to 8% off select SKUs, so again, keep in mind, $45 up to $110. And up to $200 off of select SKUs. If you have more questions about that, you guys can talk to your disties. They have all the information in the promo letters that you'll need for that. Next slide, Willie. Now, the next couple offers that we're going to talk about are going to be ending this month, so definitely get on top of those to take advantage of the prices. We have our Surface Pro Spring promo. It's been running since January 1st, and you can get up to $150 off of select SKUs. Sales quantity 1 up to 499, and the type cover is sold separately. We have our Surface Book promo also continued, started January 4th, and will go in through the end of the month with up to $500 off of select SKUs. It is still Reg eligible with no limit while supplies last. Next slide. Now, the last offer that I wanted to talk to you guys about is for the Surface Laptop with Windows 10 Pro. This one has been running since January 15th, and again, will end at the end of this month, so definitely take advantage for $50 off of select SKUs, and it is still Reg eligible. All right, last thing that I just want to keep with you guys, or leave with you guys rather, is we have the Surface Partner Alliance at partners.surface.com for all things Surface, and asset gallery, Surface program details, and readiness materials. We're actually on my team getting more content, more vertical collateral for you all to have for your customers. Keep up to date with the promos that we have running all through the Surface Alliance site. The EDU promos, definitely want to take advantage of those evergreen promos. You can save up to $200 when you bundle with Surface and 8% off of Surface devices. Now we also have up to $20,000 of ESIF available towards closing deals. This is eligible for enterprise and SMCC customers. And then lastly, take advantage of the promos that we have available through Q3 that will be ending March 31st. And that's all I have for you guys.
All right, thanks, Leticia. Looks like we haven't had any questions come in. Mainly everything has been around the links that are listed in the slides. So I will be posting this presentation to our Yammer community, aka.ms/MW partner community, right after the call, and all the links will be live within that presentation. I also do want to mention, again, there is going to be a quick survey, just 5 or 6 questions with all radio buttons, so it won't take long at all. So if you could stay on to listen to that information or to provide that information, that would be great. And then once again, just wanted to say thank you for taking time out of your schedule and joining the Modern Workplace Partner Community quarterly update. All right, thank you. I'll go ahead and stop the stream now.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.